Hello, one and all, and welcome to the Black Mask, a game of thirsty sword lesbians with intrigue, scandal, and more than a little bit of salaciousness. I'm going to introduce our players shortly, but first, why don't I introduce you to the setting? We come in over rolling fields that lead into deep, beautiful gardens. Tall hedges lined with night blooming cereus and jasmine, rose, the scents mingling in the air as costumed guests arrive in silks and brocades, hoop skirts, feathers, ruffs, diamonds, all glittering on their neck. Inside, we see, I'm sorry, at the walls, between brick columns and over. Jeez, I'm getting messed up. Hold on. Let's start over again, shall we? Even I get messed up sometimes. We see a glittering palace of gold and marble and a skylight of faceted glass over a glittering ballroom. The ground is white marble inlaid with lines and swirls of intricate gold, and the guests start at the top of a staircase where an announcer speaks their names to the court beneath them. Let's start, shall we? We have coming up to the staircase a beautiful woman. Nuance, please introduce your character.
Hi, I am playing Countess Lyra Kasanth, a newcomer from the far off country of Genovria. She has lately come to the court of the Bathory court, and where she walks, rumors swirl in her wake. Some say that she's a princess in exile after a thwarted attempt for the Genovrian throne. Others say that she is a scared widow fleeing from an arranged marriage with a cruel spouse. Others say that she's not from Genovria at all. She's actually uh, a jumped up thief or grifter, trying her hand at the Genovrian at the Bathory aristocracy. Who is she? Maybe we'll find out.
Countess Lyra Casanth, origins unknown, descends the staircase and into the mask. Next, we have a tall drink of water. Daryl, will you please introduce your character?
Yes. Maximilian Cross is known in the court for pretty much knowing everything or getting you anything you need for the right price. They don't really go for the whole title bit, but he's accepting of Lord if need be. His past is steeped in just as much mystery as the Countess, but people know not to ask.
And what does your character look like physically?
Um, about 6'2", very well built. Uh, Pretty much look like me. When in doubt, go simple. It's me, but
Maximilian Cross, Lord, descends into the ball. Next, we have someone that needs no introduction to the court of Bathory, the country that you are all in currently. But for our audience, let's introduce them. Diana, would you please introduce your character?
Carolyn the Rin walks down the stairs. She is wearing a like understated sort of pale ball gown, hair pulled back tight into uh, some clippings. She is advisor to the queen and prefers to stay, to not draw too much attention to herself. But she is tall and graceful as she walks.
The lady and advisor to the queen, Carolyn Theron, enters the masquerade. Next, we have someone who is well known at court, but is no noble themselves. Jay, would you please introduce your character as they come to the top of the staircase?
Of course. Irisen Namari is average height, about 5'6", broad-shouldered, very stocky body type. They have dark green, wavy hair, medium brown skin, and they dress in comfortable, well-tailored, but simple clothing. Irisen is a world-renowned sculptor and painter who fled their country of origin and has found new life at the court of Bathory. He travels around to bring to life the likeness of many influential and wealthy people, but Z always returns home to the care and comfort of our Queen Elizabeth, who seems to have taken a particular interest in this young prodigy. Irisen tonight is dressed in a beautiful but again simple gown, looking like me, and they appear to be very quiet and withdrawn, which is not out of the normal for them. But they exude a ethereal, timeless confidence and elegance as they walk down the stairs.
Irisen Namari, world-renowned artist, descends into the masquerade. And last but not least of our players tonight, a tall woman walks to the top of the staircase. Eli, would you introduce your character, please?
Talon is a very tall woman who's wearing a very like flowy and very kind of semi-revealing dress that's kind of cinched with a very wide like belt, and on each side holds the hilt of for two halves of her broadsword that make up what's known as swan song. She's not of noble birth, but she is always welcomed and invited at court regularly, as she's usually here to entertain and perform for the queen and for all of her guests. But yeah, she's very confident, very just very arrogant looking, very got a smile on her face, just ready to get into the ball.
The respected Talon Songweaver, dancer of blades, descends into the masquerade. And now our cast of players has arrived. But they are not the only ones there. Many a noble and respected merchant, prince, or tradesman, or scholar is at court today at the Queen's Villa in Somerset for the Midsummer Masque. But none more important than the Queen. And as the last guest descends the staircase, the Queen makes her entrance in a gown of gold and white brocade, embellished with diamonds across her neck and across her forehead. The Queen enters. She has blonde hair, dark tan skin, glittering green eyes that absorb everything in the room, take it all in, as if nothing escapes her purview, whether in court or in her entire kingdom. Tall seeming yet short, she's straight-backed, tight-lipped, and gazes at the guests of the masquerade. Welcome, one and all, my favorite guests, to the most important event of the season, the Midsummer Mask. May you revel in the beauty of midsummer, and may your flutes of champagne never run dry. Please, do not wait for me. Be merry, and let's make a night to remember. There's polite applause as the queen descends, and the mask has officially begun. Now, time passes. It's an hour, 2 hours into the masquerade. The sun has set below the horizon, casting glittering rainbows from the faceted glass of the ceiling across the dance floor. People make polite conversation, and every one of you sees members of the court that you recognize wandering to and fro, including each other. Now, we start with Irison. Irison, what would you have been doing in the time that has passed since the masquerade began?
I think Z is able to walk around and talk to everyone there in a very polite but reserved manner. Um, I think I have a glass of whatever they're serving, food if there is any. Um, Ederson is basically doing just enough to be a polite guest of this party, so that Z doesn't seem out of place or impolite. Uh, but yeah, just I think just mingling with people and talking about the next exhibition or whatever big projects that I'm working on with people. It's all polite banter in this politically charged atmosphere.
As you're making polite banter, and one of the nobles that you're speaking to obeys and excuses himself to go speak to someone else, you feel a presence behind you. Tall, dark, not necessarily looming, but observing. And when you turn, you see the face of the Lord Chamberlain, Devlin Chastain. A tall, dark-skinned man, shaved head, very lean and lithe, in a single colored black suit from high neck to toe, as suits his station. Well, you certainly are wasting no time in making conversation, are you, Irison?
Good evening. How are you?
Is it good? You must be having a wonderful time to have such an expressive tone for this evening. I've never seen you so energetic.
It is a party after all. I am tired already, but I'm having a good time.
I see. I'm not here simply to make pleasantries, my dear.
Oh, what are you here for then?
I have a missive. And from his robes, he pulls out a small rolled scrap of paper bound in gold thread and leans in to cover that he hands it to you. From a shared friend. You know who.
Should I open in private? And Irison's voice gets a lot quieter. as
I would make
soothing as ever.
sure that you're away from prying eyes. Yes.
Okay, if you'll excuse me. And Innocent does like a polite bow and heads for the bathroom.
You make your way to the facilities, which of course are as lush and gorgeous as the rest of the ballroom. Do you open the note? You are
uh,
alone.
yes, once I'm alone in the bathroom, I'm going to open the note.
So you open the note and you recognize the very direct but flowing script of the Queen. It says, Irison, my dear, an hour hence, if you would meet me in the gardens, I would love to speak to you.
What?
Sincerely, E.
Aw. What time is it right now, Zephy?
It is about an hour to the time that you will meet. It is just about 7 or 8 o'clock.
Okay, so she wants to meet at 8.
Yeah, or so.
Okay, cool. I will pocket the note in whatever cool artist looking bag I have on me,
Mhm.
which I think is the same bag I carry like everywhere. It's like the only thing that's not like formal about my outfit
Mhm.
tonight. So I just stick it in the bag. I actually use the bathroom and then I rejoin the party.
Before you rejoin the party, if you could be so kind, I'm not going to tell you what role this is. Sounds
Oh,
sneaky.
okay.
If you could just roll and add your wits to it.
Okay. That's the thing I'm good at. I'm very witty. That's cocked. Ooh. Uh 12.
Ooh, so a perfect roll. Well, with the addition. So, you notice two things. One, you are alone in the bathroom, but as you leave, you see the Grand Duchess, the sister of the Queen, walking in. She has equally dark skin, but her hair is a pale silver and curled, done up in a high bun atop her head. You are aware of her. You haven't had too much of a relationship with her, but you know that she's known as the Queen's stiff younger sister. She's known not to be very expressive. She's known to be calm and to the point of seeming cold to most members of court. And as such, she is a topic of curiosity, but as no one can get any dirt on her or anything of interest, often the rumors about her fall flat. Irison, lovely to see you.
Good evening. And I will do a little bow.
As you bow, the second thing you notice is that the hem of her dress, which is a deep purple, embellished with black lace, is that there's a little bit of dirt on the hem, almost mud. It's a little bit wet.
I see. Could you remind me who this is again? I didn't
This
quite
is
catch
the
the name.
Grand Duchess. Her full name is Bethany Bathory. She's the sister of the Queen.
Cool. As I draw myself up, I am going to. We're still like in the bathroom, right? Like I was about to leave and she walks in,
Yes.
or okay. Then I will pull her over to the fantasy sink and just gesture down politely to the hem of her skirt and say, "You have a little bit of dirt on your dress."
For a moment, with your high roll, you see a slight crack in the cold facade of her face. It lights with a little bit of surprise, maybe a touch of guilt, and then is immediately gone. Thank you so much for informing me. I will take
Do
care
you
of
want
it.
help? And I'm gonna take like a napkin from the sink and wet it. Would you like help?
She takes it from you. No, I believe I can manage. Why don't you rejoin the party?
Okay. And Edison gives her a smile and polite curtsy again, and then leaves the bathroom.
Mhm. From there, we return to the ballroom and go to the lovely Countess. If you could roll wits for me, please.
Would have been smart to have my dice out early.
It happens.
It's a little
like one of those-
ASMR break.
Keep it in a chip
Fine.
bag? Like what?
No, I just opened these are brand new dice.
Oh, okay.
So that's 10.
10. You have been mingling with those around you. You are a curiosity at court. No one truly knows your origins. The only thing they know is that you're a mysterious foreigner, supposedly a noble birth. And the only thing they really have to go off of is your appearance and what you tell them, which is very little. So as you walk around, you notice that people whisper and comment. But you are used to that, and it gives you a chance to observe those around you. In the corner of the room, you see Maximilian Cross standing with a flute of champagne. Opposite of him, approaching him, you see the Duke Addington. Now, the Duke Addington is not someone that you've had much communication with, but is known to be a bit of a killjoy. He used to be very popular at court. He's a much older man, but recently has had some difficulty. He is approaching Maximilian with a storm cloud of a face. His gray beard and is just, it's rough cut, almost as if he hasn't had a trim in a while. His face is in a scowl. His lips are downturned. He looks sallow underneath his eyes. He doesn't look good. You also notice in the corner along a chaise longue are the Marquise Caitlin Tavish and her newly engaged lover, the Lady Damsel. The Lady Damsel is known to be a well-meaning fool, someone that you have around for entertainment, but not someone that you necessarily trust with your treasury funds. Whereas the Marquise Caitlin is very well known, very well respected. Their engagement came as something as a surprise to court. What would you like to do?
I'm going to just kind of drift idly, almost not quite like I'm dancing to the strings and the music, but just moving in time, and I'm going to drift over towards the wall, which is a so far enough away so that I'm not clearly eavesdropping on Lord Maximilian's conversation, but enough, especially that if I'm sorry, it was the who's approaching Maximilian?
Duke Addington. I almost said Addington.
So
Addington.
if Duke Addington is as angry as he appears, it's likely that he won't be keeping his voice down. So I'm
Likely
going to
not.
stand just within hearing range and listening to that go down as I sip my champagne and just kind of continue to look around the ballroom. One of the things. Yep.
Would like you to quickly,
Mhm.
before we get any further, what is your playbook?
It's a secret.
I see. So you do not wish to share with it. But roll grace to make sure that you look like you're not doing anything wrong.
All right, that's 8, 9, and I have a +1 from Chaotic Redhead who donated, and I
do.
forgot it from my last one. I'm sorry. So that is another 10.
10.
Thank you.
You seem, well, you're not inconspicuous because everyone notices you, but you do not seem to be paying attention to Maximilian and the Duke's conversation. Maximilian, the Duke approaches you. Now, the Duke is someone that you do know, and you do know fairly well. And the reason for that is that you've had dealings with him in the past that have now fallen short by new arrangements. You're not quite sure how he happened to fall out of business with you, but you do know that part of your deal with certain figureheads meant you needed to not communicate with him anymore.
Maximilian! How dare you show your face at court?
I dare quite easily, Duke. And quite often.
Not under my gaze. You know I'm very well respected here.
If you don't want me under your gaze, then simply turn around and look somewhere else.
You have such nerve for a commoner. I hope you know you cost me millions.
I cost you nothing, sir. You make bad decisions. I simply facilitate.
You dare to speak to me, a duke, in my time of mourning?
As I just told you, I dare quite often. And you approached me.
His lip starts to quiver just slightly as if he's not sure how to respond.
Well then, good day!
And he storms off, grabbing 2 flutes of champagne from a nearby waiter or waitstaff and downing them instantaneously.
Oh, yes, the champagne is quite good. And I take a sip.
Maximilian,
Yeah.
you, out of everyone except perhaps Carolyn, are the most well-acquainted member of the party with everyone at court. You know everyone at least a little bit. At least a little. If not better than they know themselves in some ways. Is there anyone in particular that you are looking for or trying to observe at the mass?
At the moment, I'm keeping an eye on Lady Damsel.
I see.
Her case is quite intriguing, considering that she seems to has jumped way above her station. And I need to know I need to know a bit more about her.
She has indeed. Her engagement to the Marquise is something of a revelation. She does not particularly come from a noble house of great power or interest. In fact, the court seems to believe it's a true love match, if anything. But do you know better?
Do I know better? No, but I do intend to find out.
Do you move closer to observe what's going on with the
Yes.
Marquise?
Yes, I do.
All right, so you approach the Marquise and the Lady Damsel. They have drawn a crowd. The Marquise is a tall, imposing figure with a shock of gray through her black hair, pale skin, whereas the Lady Damsel is quite attractive. Calling her beautiful or pretty might be an understatement. Not necessarily an understatement, but not necessarily true. She has an incredibly charming demeanor that one might take as beauty, but her top lip is a little bit bigger than her lower lip. Her chin is a little too weak for true beauty, but she has a charm all of her own. And they are currently engaged in conversation with someone that you don't actually know, surprisingly.
Don't like that.
A man in a red velvet coat with short brown hair, young, possibly about 20 or so. And he has this gemstone brooch on an ascot at his throat. It is a strange sort of gem that shifts between purple and green. You would know it as alexandrite, which you would also know is an export from a neighboring country called Erst. Roll wits, and if you have any abilities from your playbook that allow you to figure someone out, you're going to figure something out here. If you want to use an ability, go ahead, but otherwise you'll make a straight figure it out roll. You do not have a string on this person, but I'm going to allow it anyway.
Okay. You said wits?
Wits.
Very good. Okay. That is. I'm going to use the extra +1 that I got and make that a 9.
A 9. All right. So you may not know who this is directly, but you're smart and you have connections outside the country. From the brooch and his manner, you can guess that this is likely the Prince Marlin of Erst, which is a neighboring country to Bathory and one of its league competitors, as they both export gems and fine wine. Honestly, Bathory has been beating out Erst worldwide for centuries. Erst is seen as something as a bit of a laughingstock in comparison, but still respectable in their own sort of way. But there is a reason that he's the ruler of the country and he's a prince and not a king.
Excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just had to make my way over and say hello to you three.
The Marquise looks up at you, and her smile drops off her face instantaneously. Oh, it's you. Maximilian, what brings you to grace us with your presence?
Common courtesy. I see people that I know at a ball, at a masquerade, and I simply want to say hello.
Common courtesy and tact don't mean anything when you're as dirty as you are.
Hmm. You see if I'm going to use a move on that one.
Be my guest.
Dirty as you. Oh yes, I'm going to use knives behind the mask. When someone
Ooh, and what does
reveals it,
that do?
when someone reveals a secret about you in your presence, you're prepared with a damaging secret about them. If you reveal it now in retaliation, they mark the condition. If you keep the secret for the time being, gain a string on them.
Do you want to keep the secret or do you want to know it first?
Uh, I'll keep the secret
Okay,
and gain the
so
string.
the secret that you have gained is, let's see. You don't have to roll for that one, do you?
Let me make sure. No, it's just
Okay.
when someone reveals a secret, and since she pointedly said someone as dirty as you,
No, it's perfect time to use that. You know something a little bit naughty. So, in your business, in the black market and other things, you often arrange for illicit goods, entertainment of a sort of underground variety.
mhm.
And you know that Caitlin Tavish despises you because her whole image relies a lot on knightly favor. Even though she is Marquise, she is well known in battle and well known for her honor and dignity and respectability. But you do remember that one of your sort of, let's say, underlings arranged for a den of pleasure on a certain estate that is linked secretly to the Marquise not even a month ago.
And when were they engaged?
Indeed.
I simply look at her with a knowing smirk, as in like, you sure you want to keep going?
At that, the lady damsel, who is sitting across her lover's lap, strokes her cheek and says, "Oh, darling, don't be so cross. It's a party. We're meant to be having fun. And don't embarrass yourself in front of the prince." At that, the prince coughs.
Oh,
And you are.
I give a deep bow at hearing that he's a prince, even though I kind of figured it out. My apologies. Is it your grace, your highness? What would you prefer?
Simply Marlin. I'm sorry. Simply Marlin will do, actually.
Marlon, it's a pleasure to meet you, Maximilian Cross.
Ah, Lord Cross, I believe I've heard of you. You are something of an international businessman, correct?
Yes, quite.
Hmm. And
If
what
you ever need
exactly do you trade in?
a bit of this, a bit of that, essentially, if something is needed, I can facilitate. If not myself, I can find someone else.
Hmm, I see. So the prince is gonna roll a little something, something. Let's see. And I'm gonna use all of the plus ones that I just got. Thank you. So that is now a 12. There is something intriguing about you, I must say.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
You should. Perhaps we can talk a little bit more in detail later this evening.
I would enjoy that very much.
He holds out his hand to shake yours.
Yes, I shake it.
Caitlin looks furious. Not even having her lover in her lap can make her happy again.
As I turn to leave, I once again look her directly in the eye. And then I and then I make my way to another waiter that has a champagne flute. I stay within at least 20 feet of them just to keep a weary eye on the lady damsel, but I let them go about their conversation.
Now let's move on to the others in our party. The Honorable Carolyn Theron. You are advisor to the Queen, and as such, you have the distinct honor of not only wandering the party, but staying by Her Majesty's side. Currently, she sits upon her throne observing the party. What do you make of this, Carolyn? This consortment of luxury in front of us?
Well, it's lovely as always, Highness. But, well, frankly, looks like there's some I wouldn't necessarily trust to get too close.
That is your first mistake, my dear. You shouldn't let any of them close. One does not simply allow an adder into her bedchambers, do they?
That's right, Highness.
Would I have the luxury of trust? And perhaps there are a few I would, but I do not. Are there some that you trust in particular here?
Well, I trust some to act the way I know them to behave. I trust that they will share their secrets with us. I trust that they will want to impress us.
Hmm.
I trust that they know better than to step on your shoes in this case.
Hmm. My darling, I have a task for you this evening. A pair of them, in fact. There are a few people here that deserve a closer eye. As much as I adore having you by my side, there's enough protection here tonight for me. I need you to observe the Countess Kisanth, Maximilian Cross, Irisin Namare, and Talon Songweaver.
Well, I of course will do what you ask. Have they done something?
No, but their names keep coming up over and over again in my reports for different reasons, and I have concerns. Irison, of course, I simply want you to make sure that they aren't getting in trouble this evening. It's not in their nature, but I have concerns. Court is not exactly their, how shall I put it? As I said, an adder's den, so to speak. Maximilian is always worth watching for various reasons, but namely, I want you to make sure that I know whatever dealings he has this evening.
Right.
The Countess, on the other hand, we know little about, and is always a mystery. What could she be up to?
I do agree. Her unwillingness to cooperate with us is beyond me.
Certainly she's deft at avoiding our advances as far as inquiries, so
Mm.
many of our people have not been able to break that facade of hers, have they?
Not yet.
As for Talon, they will be performing shortly. But I have a feeling that they're not entirely all that they seem. And as you know, there are several plans this evening, several things that cannot go awry. Watch them.
I won't let you down.
You never do. Pray that you don't stop now.
A little flush and a polite bow of the head, and she will head off to do as she's been told. I would probably, I would try to probably get a, a, a general eye on each of them. And I guess if I see, I think if I see Arison like walking off alone to the bathroom, if I'm able to like catch that sort of thing, that
You'd
would
definitely be able to catch it.
yeah, that would be the thing that tips my eye first, and I would probably try to find them after they return.
All right. We will start with that immediately following the next scene. Talon. Tonight is a special night. For you are to perform, and any night that you are performing is special, fundamentally. The queen rises, claps twice, and the room goes silent as you take center. Tell me and describe, what does your dance look like?
When as soon as like the queen claps both of her hands and like the lull of the crowd softens, Talon kind of immediately just brings like both of her hands to the hilts of her blades and like draws them. And as she draws them, the blades themselves aren't made of like traditional steel. It's not that silvery color. It's more of this really odd coppery brass kind of color to it. And when she pulls it out, it makes this like tonal ring that just kind of resonates softly throughout the whole crowd. And she lets it like kind of linger there for a moment, and she kind of swings the blades just in her hands like effortlessly, and it kind of changes the pitch and the tone of it. um and once she's kind of gotten the audience's attention, she just starts to kind of move about the space, kind of doing these kind of like acrobatic tumbles, these kind of dances, occasionally bringing the blades together to just continue that ringing sound. As she kind of just continues to do that for a while, that eventually leads to kind of like tossing the swords around as she kind of flips backwards, and eventually into one last final trick. And then she kind of just stops and makes a final pose, lets the blades kind of ring out. And um, she stands up with a level of grace, puts them back into their hilts, and just kind of takes a bow, um, first to the queen and then to the rest of the audience.
Do me a favor,
Sure.
make a roll and roll your daring and grace combined.
Daring and grace combined.
Let's see how good this performance is.
That plus. So I rolled 2 8s plus daring. That's 12.
12. The crowd erupts in applause, just clapping from every single person in the room. There's a few jaunty cheers, polite cheers, of course, as we are at court.
Yeah, Talon eats it up, takes even bow, kind of just smiles around and
You
loves the
even
attention.
get a smile and a slight incline of a head from the queen herself.
She lifts up a hand and gives her a nod very carefully, as she kind of eventually will just like sink away, unless she wants the queen would like an audience with me, but just admiring the attention.
You do see that she does incline 2 fingertips towards you and beckons.
Oh.
You two are thrown.
Then Talon will approach, and then she will take a knee and bow to her, and look up to her as, "You look lovely as ever, Your Majesty."
Ah, as honeyed with words as you are skilled in your performance, I see.
Well, only the best for you.
And only the best to perform at my ball.
Mm.
You are talented. I dare say that you are as good a performer as Irison is an artist.
I hate to compare the arts between two craftsmanships. One, I cannot sculpt in the way that Arison can, though she cannot wield a blade as well as I. So
No, but you sculpt the air with your blades, as well as they sculpt with their hands. Now, what can I give you to make your evening as bright as your performance has made mine? indulge your queen?
Well, if the queen would, perhaps a private audience later, if the mood strikes you. Perhaps I could entertain you more with my skills.
Such a bold proposition.
Well, you were quite bold that last feast last year, if you remember.
Reminds me.
Summer feast, a bit too much wine. Out in the
Ye-
courtyard.
You can definitely make a roll with that. I don't know if you want to use your playbook stuff as a scoundrel, but you can definitely use a heartstring move if you desire.
I definitely will use a heartstring move.
Would you like to entice, figure out, or influence?
I think influence.
Mhm.
I just want to influence my favor with her.
All right. So, what would you like to do as far as influence? Are you trying to gain more favor? Or
Yeah,
are
I want to get more favor with her.
Okay,
Totally.
sure. Cool. So you use the string that you've got on her.
Mhm.
I believe something could be arranged. Though you'll have to entertain me with the tale of that story from the summer feast. My memory is so hazy.
I'll come up a little bit closer just to kind of lean in. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. And I'd be more than willing to help you remember.
Absolutely take that string back. You get another one in return. Just take it. Just take it back. Just take it back. You get it. You get it.
Thank you.
Good. All right. The queen inclines her head and is clear that you are being dismissed.
I just give her a very gracious bow, and then I slowly walk back into the crowd and disappear.
Irison, you are returning from the facilities when Carolyn crosses your path.
Good evening. I believe
I believe you're muted.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Enjoying the mask?
Of course. Yourself?
Oh, of course. It's a delight every time. I was looking for you. I wanted to catch up, but I didn't see you. Were you? Are you just arriving now?
I was in the bathroom. I say, gesturing to the bathroom behind me.
Oh, of course. So, anyone caught your eye tonight?
In what way are you asking?
Any way you like?
Irison just chuckles politely and gazes around the room as if just like looking over people. And Z responds, to paint or to sculpt, everyone here is beautiful. For love or something deeper, I do not know. Why do you ask?
Oh, I'm just trying to determine the intentions of those who are in the presence of my queen tonight.
Our queen.
I misspoke.
Irison smiles and starts walking like with you back to where the food is, because I'm pretty sure I left my drink and my food somewhere, and I'm gonna get more. And I'll just say, don't worry. The music was beautiful, was it not?
It was. And the performance was also intriguing. Do you agree?
Yes.
I wonder who she is exactly.
What do you mean?
The performer. I've yet to meet her myself, but I saw her cozied up to our queen.
Her name is Talon, Songweaver.
Mm-hmm.
She's very good.
You know her well?
No, we went to one of the museums here in the capital together, looked at the art.
Well, I wonder if maybe you might have something in common, as you're both artistic at heart. Would you be interested in helping me to just determine what she's after?
You want me to ask her? What are you after?
You don't have to be so forward about it, but
So, backwards.
whichever way feels best to you. I would greatly appreciate it. Would be a personal favor to me.
Of course.
I would like to try to influence with a string, I believe it is,
Mm-hmm.
to try to convince you to to do that, if you're okay with that,
Oh yeah.
Jay.
Go
Okay.
ahead. What? How does this work? I've never played this game.
So basically, strings represent some type of connection or relationship or
Yes.
emotional tie, or basically you can spend a string to influence, tempt, in some contexts, save someone. In this case, Carolyn is tempting you to help her.
Do
Right.
I make a roll, or is she
Nope,
just gonna
it's
make a roll?
automatic. If you consent, spend the string.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
I'm just checking with you that you're okay with it before I
Cool.
go ahead.
Yes,
And okay.
I'm down for that. And I think in
Sweet.
response, Irison just nods and like playfully nudges you with the shoulder. And Z says, "Of course, I would do anything for you, and that even includes what's you political limbo."
Thank you. You are a treasure.
So are you. And Irison is going to just like look for Talon in the crowd. I don't think I'm the most like subtle person, but I'm trying really hard.
It's not difficult to spot Talon. I'll be clear about that.
Cool.
She's
Then
very
I
distinctive.
will float on that away.
Carolyn,
I'm
do
in the
you
middle
also?
of yeah, I'm in the middle of talking up some other noble lady.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Love that.
You're likely talking to one Countess Kisan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll walk up then and I'll just kind of maybe come from slightly behind as I like round around Cassandra. And I'll be like, I pretty much know every single person here in court. You, I don't know. Who might you be?
Right, I was muted too. So if Talon comes up from behind Lyra, there is a moment where she kind of startles and whirls around, and I guess I think it would be wits. Did you want to roll me a wits real quick? Anybody else who's watching can roll wits too. Maximilian, I know that's you.
Is anyone observing this conversation?
Depending on what the timing is, I would be moving in that direction. But I
Yeah,
don't
you
know
would
what the
be moving
timing
in that
is.
direction.
Okay.
Carolyn?
No, I've actually got my eyes on Maximilian now.
I see. Cool. Yeah. What about you, Maximilian?
You're muted.
Yep. I am splitting my attention between the Lady Damsel, and now that I see her about to speak with someone else, just on the off chance she might spill the beans, I'm now just kind of looking back and forth between the two.
Okay. Go ahead. Anyone that's observing the conversation, go ahead and roll wits to observe. 10?
I got the 10.
Cool.
11.
Yep, you hear everything.
So, one thing. So, Lyra always wears, and it's one of the eccentricities that people notice, but she always wears her this necklace with a big bright red gem. Let's see if I can get it on screen even a little bit.
Right in your cleavage. Okay.
It is okay.
Hello, everybody.
I'm watching it on the Twitch stream, so there's a slight delay. It doesn't matter what color she's wearing, although she does traditionally more wear darker colors, but she's always wearing this necklace. And when she spins around, the very sharp-eyed will notice that the setting moves, but the gem itself does not. Maybe it's just heavier or anything like that, but that remains fixed in place no matter what else the necklace seems to be doing. But she turns and kind of starts. Oh, Talon, that was a fantastic performance.
Thank you. Thank you.
To be noted by the queen herself. Was that a good talk?
I mean, the queen and I go way back. I mean, I'm usually always invited to all of her festivities. So it's very nice to be noted.
With the acclaim and renown you have received, I can certainly imagine that you brighten every gathering you're part of.
Well, someone has to. These can get really boring, right?
You don't enjoy standing around making the emptiest of small talk and drinking champagne?
That is definitely not what I was meant to do here. That is for noble people to do. I'm here to have fun.
That is something that is sadly lacking in most noble life, I think. The ability to have fun, to just enjoy things for sheer enjoyment instead of for searching for the next advantage, sniffing out all of the weakness.
Though true, I think you nobles tend to enjoy your fun more behind closed doors than out in the open. And just like to play politics.
Unfortunately, politics is rarely a game. Sometimes it's survival.
Again, nothing I have to worry about.
Your survival is so certain then.
When one wields a blade, one has survival in their own hands.
But survival is more than merely staying alive. It's food and wine and dancing and continuing to be invited to such lovely places as this, regardless of how entertaining they may actually be.
And until the wine goes dry and the food goes empty and I'm no longer invited to court, then I will have something to worry about. Until then, I'm well provided for.
I'm glad to hear it. at some point later. Do you wish to dance?
Oh, I would love that.
That is the true enjoyment I get from these places. It's the dancing, the music, and walking in the gardens.
Would Irison be here by now?
Yeah, can I
Yes,
walk up?
definitely.
I would like to walk up. It's
100%.
the slowest. You guys are really far across the room, and there's a lot of people in the way.
You gotta
or something,
chit
you know.
chat, be like, yes, hello.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so popular. Yes, I'll paint your portrait. Yeah. It's nice to be wanted.
I'll probably see Irison like on the slow approach, and I'll kind of just like lean over and with excitement go, Irison, there you are. I haven't seen you all night.
Hello. And I'm gonna. I think I actually stopped for like another drink, so now I have like my food and drink again. And I will join this little circle conversation that's starting to form here. As you do.
Do you know the Countess?
I believe we met briefly a couple of years ago. I visited Genovria, and I painted another noble's portrait. But we met briefly then. But no, I don't know her very well.
Oh, yes, yes. I'm certain I did not make anywhere near the impression that you did with your art, but yes, it was. Oh goodness, I cannot remember her name. Was a dame, or
I
perhaps a duchess.
a duchess. And Irson's like tilting their head a lot, trying to remember this lady's name. It began with an A. I don't remember.
Oh, and then
Ami. I
and
think it was Ami.
Ami. Oh, yes, yes, that's who it was. And Lyra will just look at her champagne and kind of shake her head, just like, how strong is this vintage?
I'm not good with the names. I remember faces, but names escape me.
As this conversation goes on and continues to get awkward,
Yes.
Carolyn, have you approached Maximilian?
Yes. I will kind of come up to his side to kind of look wherever he is looking. And good to see you.
Hello. I don't even look from where I was looking. I just go, hello, Carolyn.
Anything catching your eye tonight?
Several things.
Are we sharing this evening? Or
Caroline, you know I don't give away anything for free.
Well, what are you after then? The champagne's free.
What am I always after? Intrigue, information, a bit of naughty business.
I
In this
might have
court,
something. Sorry.
in this court, all of those things are always floating about. But you have something. Are you proposing a trade?
I am. You know, I love our little dealings.
What do you have? And well, show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Well, how much do you know about the Grand Duchess these days?
Seffi, how much do I know about the Grand Duchess these days?
Oh no, Seffi's muted.
Not as much as you would think. The Grand Duchess keeps to herself very much.
That's what I was gonna. You know, she's the secretive sort. I don't really No more than I say the lay person does.
As does everyone. I would say some scandal on her would be quite valuable.
Scandal. Would that not affect your position?
I have pieces in play.
Well, I won't tell you why, but I'm keeping a close eye on the Lady Damsel. And perhaps it would interest you to do so as well.
Should I be concerned?
Honey, you should always be concerned. This is high court.
Can you give me anything more before I share my little secret?
Just that there are many interested parties interested in her.
Okay, well, vague as always, but I do appreciate it. I will keep my eye on her. As for Grand Duchess Bethany, it seems the Ice Queen has had her heart melted.
She's found someone.
Seems that way.
Hardly a scandal.
Could be.
Is it someone from court or someone?
I can keep my information vague as well.
You're learning, Carolyn. I'm so proud of you.
She will just sort of laugh and clink champagne glasses and begin to sort of stalk. What was the name that you said, Maximilian?
Lady Damsel.
Demzel. And find my way to stay very close to this person.
The mass continues, yet our audience does not know the one thing that truly unites our cast of players. Earlier this evening, you all received a missive, a note, in a very short, to the point script. Tonight, the Queen will die. With the names of each and every one of you written below. And nothing more. And with that, we will take our break. Hello, and welcome back to the Black Mask, a Thirsty Sword Lesbians game to benefit the, what was it again?
National Abortion Federation.
National Abortion Federation. I forgot, I was gonna forget one word no matter what. Hi, we're doing this game to help raise money for reproductive rights, which are incredibly important. As always, the donation link is in chat and will come up periodically. If you could please donate to this amazing cause, we would all greatly appreciate it. Reproductive rights are incredibly important for anyone with a uterus whatsoever, and anyone who cares about someone with a uterus. So,
Yes.
please, if you can donate, obviously there's no requirement to, but if you can donate, if not, share the game and share the charity that we're benefiting. So, thank you, everyone. And with that, we return. All of you received this note prior to the ball, naming each and every one of you. Did not say if you were involved in the plot, or even that you were a person of note. It only said, the queen will die tonight, and your name's beneath it. You're muted, but you can go.
Okay, cool. I just wasn't sure if you were done talking.
Mm.
So with the three of us talking in a group, I think like Irson tries to get us to move to like a corner of the room. It's really subtle, you guys. It's really subtle. It's kind of like I take Talon, like I probably link my arm in yours, and I'm just like, let's go this way. Do we move to like some like couches in the corner? And we all sit down, and I think I just like look over at you two, and I just say, did you two get a letter this morning?
I get a lot of letters. You'll have to be more specific.
Whereas when Irison asks about a letter, Lyra just goes still, like unnaturally, maybe even inhumanly still for just a long moment. No blinking, no looking like she's breathing. It's just absolute no movement at all.
Lyra, are you all right?
Yes, of course. Just I did in fact get such a letter. It was very concerning. Did you
Yes.
send it?
Talon? No, it was not me, but it had your name, and I point to you, Lyra, and your name, and I point to you, Talon, and my name, and two others. And I look back to Talon as if, like, yes, do you know the letter I'm talking about, or did you get a second letter with all of our names on it?
You mean the one with Maximilian's and Caroline's name as well?
Yes, that one.
Oh, yes. Then I know what letter you're talking about.
I don't
The-
get many, so this one stood out.
Who do you think might have sent it?
I mean, who wouldn't want to send that kind of letter? I mean, minus our names.
I would have assumed Maximilian, except he never would have put his name physically on anything.
Yes, having been in this court for some time, he would not have. They are much more subtle than this. Therefore, I do not think it was them.
Who do you think it was?
Irison doesn't say anything, but the two of you can watch as my gaze slides over to Lady Damsel and the Marquise. And I look at them, I look back.
I love how subtle with a pronounced D Irison is.
You think the Marquise is involved?
And like a visible, like, how did you know? Like a facial expression on my face. And Irison like looks at you and is like, it's like you read my mind.
I was just gonna let that one go.
Will you elaborate to the accusation?
It was And Irison just like pauses because Z is considering whether or not to talk about the thing that happened earlier that week during a particular painting session with Lady Damsel herself. And they just, I think, look at the two of you and say, well, if this concerns you as much as it concerns me, if you would like to try to figure out who is behind all of this, I can share with you.
Well, I don't think any of us want the queen dead. So any information that can help would probably be beneficial, no?
I'm looking at Lyra.
Of course, the queen's safety is paramount, and anybody can roll wits for that.
Do they need to?
They don't. So she's not lying. Like, she certainly does not seem to have any ill will against the queen, or is just like, whatever, she could die or anything like that. But there's definitely a lot more. My safety is paramount, which seems to be really good with like linking up with the queens and making sure she doesn't get killed.
Mm-hmm. And Irison just nods and says, I would not like there to be blood spilled on the floor tonight.
I'm very much in agreement with that.
And I will pull... I will just like pull on like some embellishment on my dress, just playing with it with my hands, and I will say, I believe that at the very least, looks over at the damsel and the marquise, at the very least, these two have something planned tonight at 8 p.m.
I can think of another who may have motive.
Oh?
And Lyra looks around to find where the Grand Duchess is. Is she present still? Is she?
She is present. She is standing in a corner talking to someone that you recognize, but no one has interacted with yet. Mostly because I didn't tell you. And that is the... where is it? Hold on. It has a name. Baron Livery, who is a well-known scholar, not very well liked, low-ranking noble, but talented in magical research. And Bethany doesn't look amused, but she never does. And the Baron is just talking and talking and talking and talking, a little bit of spittle coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, as Lyra sees them, her eyes actually focus not on the Grand Duchess, but on the Baron, and she just glares.
What? What?
I'm sorry?
Just...
Issue with the Baron.
None specifically. I've never been acquainted with him. But I've heard it say that in his quest to find rare and magical artifacts, he's willing to bend or even break not only the laws of the court and the land, but laws of even decency.
I don't think she's up to any good either.
I think she would, if it comes to the Queen's safety, have more motive to harm than even the Baron, in fact.
Is it because she is just so stone faced all the time and quiet?
A moment's
dress-
hesitation. Oh, sorry.
Her dress was dirty.
My
Mud.
dress is dirty.
It it was a little bit of mud. It looked like she wanted to hide it. She seemed embarrassed and guilty almost that I saw.
I would believe she's had an assassination. Not an assassination. The queen has forbidden her to marry. I don't know who, but someone very unsuitable, apparently. She has forbidden it. And the Duchess was in tears.
On that note, we'll go to the other players.
That's
Carolyn-
not very nice of her.
Maximilian.
Is Caroline still by me, or did she move over to?
I had just walked off to go and find Lady Damsel.
Very good. I would be, having gotten a pair of eyes on them for me, I would go find Devlin.
Devlin,
Yes.
the Lord Chamberlain. Currently, the Lord Chamberlain is plucking a flute of champagne off a serving plate, nodding quietly to another noble, and when he sees you approach, raises an eyebrow. Maximilian.
Lord Chamberlain. And I give a very, just a very like, I don't care about your your level type of deal because we've known each other for so long.
He looks deeply, deeply amused.
So
Come now, brother. If not in blood, then in business in arms. What do you wish to speak of?
a very disturbing note that I received this morning.
Oh,
And I bring it out of my inner coat pocket and I hand it to him.
takes it, looks at it. I see, hands it back. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. Although, being so bold as to do it on the Midsummer's Mask, that is new.
And also being so bold as to put my name on this note.
There could be any number of motivations for why your name is on the list.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm certain.
I've done absolutely nothing wrong ever.
Yes, you are the picture of innocence.
We both know that's your job. That's why you're
Hmm.
actually of the court. But I would have been remiss if I did not let you know of a plot.
Thank you for informing me. I
Which-
am curious as to these names, however. Irison? Really? Involved in a murder plot?
Well, you do know she is. Zia is quite close to the queen.
Have you talked to them, though? They don't have a dissembling bone in their body.
I didn't have to talk to them to understand that.
The question I have is whether the person who sent this warning meant to cast guilt upon all of you, or thought that you could be the ones to prevent it, or something else entirely.
Oh, we are two minds of the same kind.
Hmm.
The most interesting names on this list, or at least one, is Carolyn.
Ah. the right hand of the queen.
Yes.
Carolyn is shrewd. And Carolyn knows more of the queen's business than most. But there are some things that aren't told to her.
True. True. They are an interesting person to speak to. Of course, there are a few names that I don't know that well. Talon and
The performer.
yes.
I believe to get to know them, all you have to do is ask.
I simply haven't made my way over to that part of the room yet.
You're leaving something out. You mentioned that you do not know Talon well, but did not mention the Countess. Do you have something of a relationship that even I don't know about?
Our paths have crossed. I'll leave it at that.
You are fond of your secrets, Maximilian.
It's a part of my job and yours.
Just see that it does not affect our gainful employment.
Never. Money over everything. Sorry. I broke myself. Yeah. No. It wouldn't serve to have Her Majesty taken away, because she is very much a part of our gainful employment. Others would likely seek to have at least myself ousted. I then look very squarely at the Marquis.
Still not getting on with our lovely Marquise, are you?
Don't know what the problem is. I facilitate parties for them.
The problem is that they're quick on the uptake and can read you like a book, even if they can't prove it.
Well, yes. Knowing
I'm afraid you do
and
come
proving-
across a bit smarmy.
Well, I can't help it if I come across as smarmy. They come across as dull.
Not so dull as to not get the interest of the court with their new match.
Oh, the new
But
match. I hate her laugh.
what, not fond of?
It is so attention-seeking that it obviously belies a subtle cunning that no one else can see.
Yes. Well, I can tell you that there are quite a few people with motive to try and kill the queen, but not so many with the means to. Clearly, poison is out. We have tasters, and more importantly, that would be dreadfully gauche. Besides, I've made sure she's immune to practically everything. We give a little dose in every bit of food that she has.
You're very good at that.
I am very good at what I do. After all, it wouldn't do to have our meal ticket die, would it? Especially when the alternative is... Gaze goes to Bethany Bathory. She is the heir apparent. Elizabeth does not have an heir yet.
I heard a little secret about her. She is taking a lover.
Ah, so you know about Aberley, do you?
Oh, let me write that down.
If you
Well-
know of that, then you know you should watch the Duke. After all, it is his son that is dead.
Is that why he was so upset with seeing me earlier, talking about being in mourning?
Beyond the fact that your face does inspire a certain level of upset, yes, I imagine so.
I thought I was quite handsome, but okay.
It's not the bone structure. It's the mean, so to speak. Come now, you know I'm teasing you.
Oh, I know. I was just trying to figure out what other people are seeing. I thought I was hiding the snideness quite well. Apparently, I've been failing all evening. And surprise, I
Evening?
don't care.
Just this evening?
Just this evening, yes. I've been a very happy person and all that, whatever normal people do, whatever. But his son, and he has died. How did he?
Oh, you do not know of that. He served in the military. He is, after all, it is a military sort of legacy that the Addingtons have. He died in a bandit raid that the Queen sent him on to quell. Quite the tragedy.
To quell, it just so happened to send her sister's lover on a bandit raid, and he never made it back. Oh, I tell you, whoever wrote this story is very good.
Yes. Well, I will make sure that the guard is prepared for whatever's to come. But you have the ability to move between the folks here more than I do.
True. They
So-
may not like me, but they're all afraid of you.
Oh, several of them do. Simply the Marquise does not. And Addington, but no one cares about his opinion anymore, not since the Queen cut off his balls. All that illegal trade just gone. My, where could it have gone?
I couldn't tell you. As I told him, I don't make bad decisions, I simply facilitate, so it's never on me. But I'll do my best to see what is happening in the court while you do your dealings in the more above board way.
Always a pleasure, Maximilian. Never change.
I didn't plan on it, and neither should you. I then clink the champagne flute and I give another sarcastic bow and walk away.
Carolyn, what are you doing?
I'm confronting Lady Damsel.
Are you trying to confront her alone?
Yes, I will attempt to do that.
Are you going to attempt to get her on her own, or are you going to attempt to seek her out when she's on her own?
I will try to coax her.
She has yet to move from the couch upon her lover's lovely arms. The prince, on the other hand, has gone missing.
Oh.
From the conversation. He's still in the ball, he's just elsewhere.
My lady, are you...
Lady Carolyn, oh, my love, look who's here. It's the lady, the advisor to the queen. Yes, my love. What do we owe the pleasure?
Well, I see you're very comfortable. I was hoping to catch your attention.
Well, you have it, my dear. What can I do for you?
I noticed that you are accompanied tonight.
Yes, and for the rest of my days, hopefully. Yes, my love. For as long as we may be together, as long as the deities above allow it, I am yours.
And this is a new romance, or...
Well, it wouldn't do to give me illicit details of our affairs, do you, would it? So salacious. I never took you to be one for gossip.
Oh, don't mind me. You know, I just love a love story.
Well, if you must know, it's been going on for nigh on a year, right, my love?
Yes, my dear, a year.
How interesting. I do hope that you're happy and enjoying all of the bliss of this romance, especially in such a dark time for our royal court.
Dark time? Whatever do you mean?
Oh, I wouldn't want to sully your mood. You're just so happy.
You know something that you won't tell us. My love, I must know. I must know.
Oh,
At that, there is a slight eye roll from Caitlin. Engage in gossip, my love. Be free to be who you are.
Oh, you are so good. Carolyn, you must tell me. You must.
Oh, I would love to. I just don't know that I can share it here, in such crowded space.
Right. Let's go to the garden.
Yes, please.
And she gets up from her lover's lap, brushes off her skirts, and follows you, walking like this.
Love her. Yes, I lead her to the garden.
Yes,
Once,
to die.
once we're alone, I really am happy for you.
Oh, isn't it amazing? I know what the court says, that I've seduced someone above my station, but it really is love.
Well, station or not, I'm just happy you're happy. Now, things have been sour around here. There's been some sad faces, and unfortunately, it seems that some people are attempting to make some nefarious plans.
What kind of nefarious plans? Oh, you must tell me. You must.
Well, you didn't hear it from me, but our poor Duke, our poor Aberley, has not returned to us.
From where?
Went out to vanquish bandits that were terrorizing our queen's people, and you know that she can't have that.
Not Anthony. Oh, we were all so looking forward to when he ascended to being the Duke. After all, that old piece of dirt is such a killjoy. Oh, it's so hard to remain kitty around him. He can't truly be missing, can he?
Oh, that's the latest I heard. I know the Duke, what a brutish man.
He really is poor. He just can't seem to get over the fact that he's irrelevant anymore.
Exactly. And I just have to wonder, what lengths will these type of power-hungry people go to?
Do you suspect foul play?
I dare not say it, because it is so scandalous. But in my heart, I do worry that this may have been orchestrated.
Oh, what is he planning? Do tell me! Do you know?
Well, if it's relevance he seeks, there are plenty of people here of, as you said, high station, that he could attempt to unseat.
Like my lover?
I would be quite careful if I were you.
Oh, no, it couldn't touch the Marquise. She's too... everything.
I agree. And you know what? I am probably just seeing mountains and molehills, as they say. I do tend to worry, but it wouldn't hurt to be safe.
You're right. You're right. And don't worry, your secret's safe with me.
Thank you.
I must obey.
She flees through the gardens, Gertz trembling in her wake.
That is my best friend, I say, as she runs away. I love her. Yeah, and I'll return to the party to keep watch.
It is now nearing 8 o'clock. Did you hear me? It's now nearing 8 o'clock.
Yes. Oh, yes. I am checking the time, and I want to try to locate the queen. Is she still on her throne, or is she moved?
She has moved.
Oh.
She's no longer in the ballroom.
Probably in the gardens where she told me to meet her. So, I'm going to look at Lyra and Talon, and I'll just say, if you'll excuse me, Her Majesty wanted me to meet her in the gardens. So that's where I will be. That's where she will be. Please excuse me. And after telling 2 other people where we are going to be, I am going to turn and do a little curtsy and walk away. Yeah, so smooth.
What are Talon and Lyra going to do in response to that? You're muted.
You're muted.
Probably on your mic because it's on Zoom.
There we go. I hit my Mac by accident. I'm sorry. No, so Lyra is just going to stare at Irison through the whole. That's where I'm gonna be with the queen. That's where, like, just in the. Are you for serious right now? And then just look at Talon like, am I having a stroke? Am I actually hearing what is happening here? Just like this.
They can be a little straightforward. So if that's what they're doing, it's probably what they're doing.
So blunt.
So what?
Well, you have a delightful time with the queen in the garden, which is where you both will be. I guess.
Like over my
Also-
shoulder, I just do a little like a little
You will
finger.
also remember that Irison mentioned not only is it the time that they were meant to meet the queen, it's also the time that they were told something would go down in the gardens. Same exact time.
I'm gonna wait till Arison like leaves, and then I'm going to look at Lyra and go, "We're following them into the garden, right?"
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Sephi, do I have any idea when the deal is going down?
The deal
Mm-hmm.
between yes, that deal. That deal is meant to happen right around now.
Do I know where?
The garden.
Oh, well. So in that case, yes, I will definitely look to Talon and be like, that is a brilliant idea that you have had. Yes.
I'm gonna link arms with her, and we're both gonna just walk out to the garden together.
So convenient.
Maximilian. In the last 10 minutes, you have seen not only Carolyn and the Lady Damsel walk into the gardens, you also noted the Queen
left, as well as the others listed in that note.
All still holding another champagne flute. I'm on like number 14. Like, oh, they're about to settle as an anvil. And I just walk behind.
Congo line to the gardens.
Carolyn, as you are coming back, you see Irison first, then trailing not so far behind, Lyra and Talon in arms, and then behind them, Maximilian.
I would like to at least go for a more smoother transition than some other people.
Go for it.
Is that a Grace?
Grace.
Okay.
And Lyra and Talon are at least gonna look like they're chatting and like are heading out, not to follow, but just like, of course we're going to go for a promenade around the garden. Perhaps
Yeah.
something interesting will happen. Even who knows?
That I'm gonna save that extra one that I got earlier, so that'll be 8.
Okay. You're smooth as silk, baby. Smooth as silk, walking out nonchalantly, holding out your champagne flute, taking in the gardens, the scent of night blooming flowers, jasmine, cerise, the maze of the gardens, the hedges, the bushes, lead out to a fountain and then part into several different paths before you. And you take it all in, as well as your compatriots here at the court.
I take
You do
out
not see the queen, however.
I take out a pipe, so that'll be the reason that I'm actually out here. Light up a pipe.
Carolyn, do you hide your presence from the others, or do you approach them?
No, I'll approach.
The first you would see would be Irzin, and you would see Lyra and Talon as well. Maximilian, maybe not involved, maybe just walked out, maybe just a little bit later, smoking a pipe. But you know Maximilian.
Mm. Well, tell me, did anyone else receive concerning news this evening?
Yurson's like walking past you and hears that, and Z just says, yes, I did, but I have to go. Please excuse me. And I keep walking.
Okay.
Very late to the party, Caroline. We had a whole discussion about it.
Well, I'm glad we're talking about it, but what are we doing about it? Nuance, you're muted if you're talking.
I had just been thinking, but no. Lyra will actually pull an Irison and say, that is an excellent question. For now, I'm simply walking. And we'll just kind of extricate her arm from Talon and almost try to like put it on Carolyn so that like you guys can be together. And she's going to stroll off into the gardens. And she manages to disappear into the shadows very quickly and very well.
You're gonna roll Grace to do that.
Can do.
Unless you have an ability that lets you do it.
Hold on. Actually, I think...
Pulls a Homer Simpson into the forest.
That's what it's called.
Yeah. I don't know if Mask of Many Faces counts.
And what does that do exactly?
You can change your entire physical appearance at will, so long as you have 1 point. And
We'll allow it.
all right, so yeah.
Now into the shadows.
She's going to step kind of into the shadows and maybe turn like a corner, so it's not just right there. But then her whole form ripples and turns into a dark gray, like almost like a mannequin. Just it's fully gray, like almost like she's in a Zentai suit. There's just no physical characteristics other than humanoid shape, and blends incredibly well in with the shadows. And the nearby flora and fauna, or well, the nearby flora, the gardens kind of almost grow a little bit thicker where she is, because I'm using the magic in my crest jewel to kind of shadow her a little further, so almost like she can go into the hedges themselves, like they open around her and then close behind her.
To the rest of you, it looks like Lyra completely disappears into the shadows of the garden.
When I see this, I immediately start choking. It's not my normal brand.
Carolyn, Talon, and Maximilian, what would you like to do now that you're in the garden?
I came
Well-
to spy on the queen.
I will spy for the queen. But yes, same intention.
War on. It's not much difference, Caroline.
I came to protect the queen, I suppose.
The difference is in my heart.
So you all enter the garden.
Yes.
Now, like all good mazes, it's a little hard to navigate. And there's so many things going on at once. Let's see what happens first for each of you. Maximilian, Talon, and Carolyn, you will come across the same event as you are traveling together. Irison and Lyra, you will have separate events. They may be the same thing, but we'll find where you're going. Unless someone would like to make a wits roll to get where they're going right off the bat.
I would like to, because I feel like it's entirely possible the queen has asked me to meet here before.
You definitely
And
have a
so
shared meeting
there's
space, yes.
A possibility that I know exactly where I'm going.
Go ahead and roll wits.
Okay. Math. That's an 11 with my wits.
Okay. You know your way through this garden. You know exactly where the secret meeting place is, where you meet the queen. In one moment. What did everyone else get that rolled?
I also got an 11. I am heading to the Baron's meeting. I mean, the queen, like, she's got people with her. I know for a fact Irison's gonna be there. So I'm gonna go get eyes on that deal.
13. I'm
13.
looking. Yes.
You're going for the queen as well?
Yes.
Since you are with the group, I'll count your roll for everyone since it's so high. So you all, everyone save Lyra gets to where they're at, the queen essentially, and then Lyra gets to where she is going. And we'll start with Lyra. Lyra, you haven't had occasion to wander the gardens, however, your crest stone as a Naga guides you. Your spirit tells you where you need to be. And as you wander through the tall maze of hedges, this perfume of the flowers scenting your travels, you come across a small clearing where there's a stone bench and little else save a statue of one of the previous queens above it. Sitting there is the Marquise, Caitlin. Extricated from her lover, she sits alone. Do you make yourself known?
Nope, I'm pretty sure that this is a secret meeting, and I only care if there's going to be a reason for me to care, so.
From behind the statue, in a ripple of power, appears the Baron. Now, the Baron is not a particularly imposing figure. He stands about 5'6", spindly rather than lean, almost has like a concave chest that he conceals with thick robes of heavy silk, thinning light brown hair, and a perpetual sniffle.
Marquise, a pleasure to meet you here.
Yes, it's always wonderful to see you, Baron Livery. It doesn't at all make me sick to my stomach.
What was that?
Nothing. Now, you wish to meet regarding the supply.
Yes, well, the last shipment that you gave me of the crest stones has been merely depleted, and if I am to continue my research, I need more.
As eloquent as always. You know they're not easy to come by, especially since not even the black market run by the Queen allows for them.
The Queen runs the black market?
I thought you'd be better informed than you are. Of course she does, ever since Duke Addington fell short and she took over from him, forcibly. Now, I don't believe your last payment was sufficient.
But I gave you all I had.
And now you're going to give more. 10,000 more per crest stone. After all, it's been difficult to get them in the country ever since the Queen outlawed the trade. Now, what do you say to that, plus a little favor you could do for me?
I already cast a spell on your lover. What else do you need?
To make it permanent. We can only keep up the facade for so long, and we really needed to keep going if we're ever to depose her from the throne. You know the deal. After all, forever to make headway and get that bitch off the throne, and get rid of her little sister as well. We really need to make this convincing that the lady is actually the true-born child of the last king. You know that, right?
Yes, I know. All the intrigue and stuff. I'd rather just stay with my bunk, thank you.
Fine. Do you agree?
Yes. I'll have the money sent in a fortnight.
In a week, darling. Now run along. We all have to play our parts, even though yours is smaller than others. The Baron bows, nearly falls over with the strength of it because he is very weak. Goes behind the statue and shimmers away. Lyra, what would you like to do?
Well, there's the smart thing, and then what actually happens. The smart thing to do would be to very quietly slip away and inform people of what I heard. What's going to happen is that Lyra, the hedge is going to open so Lyra can get out, and she is going to leap with a scream of pure rage and fury. She's going to leap out onto the Marquise. She is taking her true form in this.
Describe it.
So she looks from the waist up. She looks very similar to the Lyra that everybody has seen. Her features are a little bit sharper. Her skin kind of glitters in the light a bit more, although now she does have fangs and slitted pupil eyes, and her fingers she's got very long nails that are now talons, really, that are crooked into claws, and but from the waist down, she is a giant snake, just like this huge fuck off snake with coils large enough to crush a full grown man. and she is fast. So her necklace has gone away, just leaving this burning bright red jewel in her chest, and she's leaping. She can't even say anything. It's just this loud scream of pure, unadulterated rage and grief. She's gonna try to kill that bitch like way
Get
hard.
the element of surprise fully. Normally this is a contested roll. I'm going to say that don't think minuses are normally a thing necessarily, but I'm going to roll with a -3 against your. This would be daring.
Okay, ooh, I'm glad I gave myself that point then. What is sorry, I wrote my adjusted stats down, so now I have to find them.
I believe you have some +1s from our lovely chat as well.
Oh, and I'm using those so much. All right, no, that is, oh. All right, how much is that plus? Fuck. Oh no! Oh no!
What did you roll?
I still have a -1. So that'll go to 0. I rolled a 9.
Oh, so you rolled a 9.
Yes, which is under the good threshold, I think. I don't really remember.
No, it's I believe it's not. Let me just double check here.
Is that with a +1 from chat?
Yeah, because I took a minus. I have a -1 in daring.
Oh, I see. It's not contested. Okay, I got this wrong. So 7 through 9, you choose 2, and your opponent chooses 1. Flirt. Well, you're not going to flirt with. Through violence or cutting words, inflict a condition, create an opportunity for an ally, or take an object from your opponent or seize a superior position. Which would you like to do?
What is the one that's closest to have my claws raking down her whole ass face?
Either a condition or seize a superior position, I believe.
I'll go with seize the superior condition, because at that point, like, I'm on her, and I've got my claws are at her, like right above her eyes. And at that point, I'm still screaming, only now there's much less grief and a lot more fury.
Disgusting beast among us. How dare you? What do you say or do now that you've put them in a precarious position where they can no longer escape?
A beast, you say? I'll show you what a beast can do. You've murdered my kin. The next skin I wear will be yours. And then I'm going to do my best to, with the murdering, make that happen. Maybe not murder, just at least like a good mauling. I'm gonna maul.
This is not necessarily part of the game rules, but I'm gonna say roll again. Roll daring. I think that's the best fit.
That's a 10, 9, 10! I can math. Thank you everybody in chat for giving me +1s for this.
How would you like to rend this person limb from limb?
So she very clearly, the first thing I'm just gonna swipe, but I don't go for her face yet. I tear off her jewels. I rip off her incredible, like her whole elaborate hairstyle, and then I put my claws on her face. And I start to drag down, and I leave bleeding furrows, not enough to actually harm her. The queen will know of your treachery. I will ask her for you as a gift in exchange. And then I'm just gonna put my hand around her throat and see it, and kind of try to pick her up and like slither through the gardens.
And you do so. You do so entirely. And now we return to the others. Irison, you are the first to arrive. Unbeknownst to you, the others follow behind you.
Yep.
You come to a different clearing, this time much more grand, with a gazebo of wrought iron painted gold, trailing vines above it, roses blooming in the night. Moonlight streams down from the sky above, and you see the queen waiting at the gazebo.
I walk up to her and I do a deep bow, and I say, I got your note.
Did you? I can see
Yes.
that, otherwise you wouldn't be here, would you? She turns to you.
That's right. I am concerned about your safety tonight.
My safety, my love.
Yes,
I am
I've
the most
heard.
well-protected being in this entire palace. If
I know.
anything, it's the others who should be afraid of their safety. Not
I'm
me.
gonna sit down next to her and pull out the note that says the queen is going to die tonight, and show it to her.
She plucks it with 2 fingers, looks at it. Ah, it seems Devlin is very good at his job. And flicks it away.
He's involved? I thought it was the Marquise and your
Oh.
sister.
Oh, they have their own tasks to fulfill. Rather, the Marquis. Right about now, it's a possibility that our Countess could be discovering her. After all, letting her see just enough to question, learning about the Baron's poor nature was really easy. Darling, one of the things I love about you is that you don't know how to play the game. It's so refreshing.
Irison has leaned against her, gently, assuming the queen allows me to. Just leaning against her, head resting on the shoulder. All the other names and whatever just flying over my head. I'm just happy to be here.
There is no assassination plot. I had Devlin planned it. Throw the others off the game. You are not the only ones to receive such a note with other names. It
So you're
puts people on edge.
so you're not in danger.
No more than usual, I believe.
And Irison smiles and just and I want to go in for a kiss.
You may do so.
We smooch. It's cute.
The others of you see that.
Yes, perfect
However,
time.
Much of that would I have heard.
roll wits, each and every one of you, save Irison and Lyra.
Oh no.
7 for me.
7. Let's see.
7.
7.
7. I have no +1s from the chat, but can I?
Did you already use your one? Because we all got one.
Oh, we all got one? Okay,
Yeah.
then I
Yeah,
would like
we all got
to.
one.
I guess using it only brings me up to an 8, but yeah, sure.
A shared moment of intimacy, sweetness between the Queen and her secret lover, Irison, could only be interrupted by one thing: an arrow whistling through the air and piercing the queen's heart. As her blood begins to flow, her body collapses atop Irison, and with a gasp of cut off air, she dies in her lover's arms. And that's the Black Mask. Thank you so much for joining us on this plot of intrigue and desire and seduction and murder and illicit goods. I have been your DM, Persephone, aka Persephoroth, and I am going to hand it off to my amazing players to give their socials, talk a bit about themselves and what they do, and we'll go from there. We'll start and go clockwise from what I can see, which means we start with Daryl.
Hello, I'm Daryl Dorsey. You can find me. I had the pleasure of playing Maximilian Cross with all these lovely people. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mr._Daryl Dorsey. Quite a few of you found me during this. I kept seeing alerts on my phone. You can also find me here on Twitch at Daryl Sucks at Gaming on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays. Also with our producer who's putting this on the entirety, whose stream we are on with Jess, the Fan Gang podcast, of which we're playing through Vampire the Masquerade together, and I am their storyteller.
Now we'll go to the lovely player of Irison, Jay.
Wow, what? Okay. Dang, all right. Hi everyone. My name is Jay. I use they them pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at Nolawoo or at Knowledgeoz if you'd like to see my art. Much like Irison, I am an illustrator. I do illustration work and art directing within the tabletop sphere. I'm also a voice actor, sensitivity reader, cultural consultant, tabletop content creator, and actual play stream performer. Follow my Twitter to find out like all the really cool things that I am doing. I think the only thing that I want to shout out right now is the company that I am doing art direction for, Games Unbound. We are running a Kickstarter currently for a supplement for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It is 50 NPCs written and illustrated by a really diverse, super talented group of people. I am art directing for this, and I would love it if you would check out the project and support us if you can. But that you can find the link for that at Games Unbound's Twitter, which is at Games Unbound. But thank you so much for having me. Thank you for coming together for this incredible charity and this amazing game. What the heck? But yeah, thank you so much. And it's been great, even though Irison has had the worst day of his life.
All right, let's go to the player of Talon, Eli.
Hi, I'm Eli. I am the resident ghost of Mayday Roleplay. We are a group of podcasters and TTRP streamers. We play TTRPG games. We currently are in the thralls of our Vampire the Masquerade Vegas by Night campaign. That we our second episode we just streamed yesterday, so you can find it on our Twitch at Mayday Roleplay. When I'm not doing that stuff with Mayday, I'm an audio engineer. I'm a editor in the TTRPG space. I do production consultation for getting you the podcasts that you would like to create. And you can find me at A Ghost of Eli on Twitter if you are interested. But yeah, that's pretty much.
Next, we have the player Carolyn.
Hello, hello. I am Super Dylan, or Dylan. I use she, he, and they pronouns, and I am a tabletop game designer and entertainer. You can find me primarily on the Atom List, which is available both as a raw, unedited actual play on the Welcome In, or as a heavily edited and finessed final project as a podcast on all of your favorite podcatchers. And I would love if you checked it out. And you can go to superdylan.com to see that and all my games and everything.
And of course, player of Countess Kisan.
Hi, I'm Nuance. Unlike everybody else who's amazing at this table and doing 9,000 things, I'm mostly ranting on Twitter about structural inequality. I was on Persephone's podcast, Fast Times at D&D High, as Sarcissa, where I played another snake person. I promise I do have slightly more range than that. I also, so you can find me on Twitter at Shadowraven, Ravyn. I was 16 when I came up with that, don't ask. And here on Twitch at Booksome Wench, where I will occasionally stream video games, and I'm looking to get back into running games on my channel, especially since I now have 9,000 kickstarted RPGs and really need to start exploring them. So thank you all.
And I also want to give a shout out to the organizer of this event and the lovely producer, Jess. Let's all give a round of applause for them. And as a reminder, we are all doing this to raise money for the National Abortion Federation. That's the word. I am sorry. Reproduction rights are incredibly important. I'm just terrible at remembering names because I have ADHD. So if you can donate, I know the game's over, but it's a really important cause, and any donation you can make to them matters. Reproductive rights are super important for anyone with the uterus and those who care about them, which should be everyone. So please donate to the cause. As far as me, I am Persephone, aka Persephorath on Twitter, Twitch, anywhere there's Persephorath, that's me, unless they're doing something fucked up, then it's probably not me. I have discovered a few copycat accounts at this point, which is very strange. They haven't done anything, but it's very weird. But anyway, I do TTRPG stuff. I'm often a player. I'm best known as playing Sam Nightingale in the 7 on Dimension 20. And I stream on Twitch on Sunday, Monday, Friday, and Saturday every week. So if you like RPG, Pokemon's challenge runs, and stuff like that, check me out there. So thank you so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun. It was good to be back in the GM seat. And we wish you all a good time zone wherever you're at. I hope you had fun.